Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and today we're going to be attempting, and there's a huge asterisk with that, to clean up this Samsung Nuon. Before we do that though, if you guys can do me a favor, please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done that before, and check out all the social media stuff in the description: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, all that sort of stuff, as well as my new channel called Flying and Eating, which is all about venturing, flying, eating, all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Now, back onto the point. Yes, we have what is in front of us called a Samsung Nuon. Now, there's a couple of things we need to get out of the way here before we can really do anything, so I'm just gonna say all this stuff. First, if you've never heard of the Samsung Nuon, I don't blame you. It's an extraordinarily obscure 6th gen console. I've done videos on the Toshiba model. I did a recap video as well as actually a cleaning of that particular console. So the problem with this thing was that, I'm just gonna give you a little history lesson here. This TLDR version, a company called VM Labs, basically, which was kind of a spin-off of Atari, decided, hey, we can make another console and we'll just kind of rebrand it. And the idea was they blended their technology with DVD players. They approached various companies like Samsung and Toshiba to integrate into those systems. It was not successful, and it was really only around for like a year. And in the end, you had a few different models. You actually have more models than you do games. There's only like 8 games ever made for this thing. So they're not a very common thing to see anymore. And while I've had the Toshiba one for a little bit, I never had any of the others. And a huge shout out to a guy named James down in Dallas, Texas. I was in Dallas not that long ago, and I met up with him, and he just gave this to me for free, which is really cool of him to do. He just didn't have to do that. But here's the other thing. James told me straight up that this thing does in fact work. And normally I kind of like to see for myself if that's the case, but here's the other thing. I already attempted to make a video about this. This is actually my attempt number 2 in making a cleaning video about this thing, because here's the deal. If you've ever seen one of these videos, you know the process. You know, it's a little bit of preamble, then we open it up, we clean it inside, and all that sort of stuff, and then disassemble, reassemble. It's really all there is to it. This one has no right to be as complicated as it is. I opened this up in the original version of this video and realized I can't take this apart. Like, I don't have the skill set. However, and if that was the case in any other console, pretty much, I wouldn't bother continuing, because there wouldn't really be a video there. But here's the thing. First of all, the exterior of this thing is disgusting, and I know we can at least take this plate off and work on that. But because the Samsung Nuon itself is so obscure, and there's only like 6 of you watching anyway, I figured it would be good to at least show you what's under the hood for those 6 people that might actually be interested, because there's very little documentation and video footage of this process. So we're going to go as far as we can with it, but I'm just telling you in advance, we're not actually ultimately going to be doing a whole lot. This is more like a cleaning oddity, if that makes any sense. So to begin, the first thing you're going to need is a Phillips head screwdriver. This is just a standard dimension one. And the Samsung Nuon has 5 screw points. One on the side here, one on the exact opposite side right there, and then it's got 3 on the back, one right here by my thumb, one right down there, and then one right here above the composite port. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and remove those. I would say you go ahead, but let's keep it real. You're not actually doing this. Now that the screws are out, there's just these 5 all basic screws. They're exactly the same size, so you can mix and match if you really want to. It doesn't really matter. You end up with this point. This is, like I said, this is pretty much the only thing we're going to be able to do. Once we take this off, all you kind of do is just slide it back and then up and then out. And then this is it. This is our removable piece. Now, well, here's the thing. This is just a metal sheathing, and as you can see, it's very dirty and gross, and it's got sticker residue on it. And we'll get back to this in a minute, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of a look at this. Now, keep in mind, obviously there are people that could take this apart. This is not complicated to the right type of person, but to me, this is a tad above my skill set. But it's still kind of interesting, I think, to see. I thought at least the laser would be exposed, because if you saw the one I did on the Toshiba Nuon, that one was actually pretty simplistic. There was a lot of just nothing in here, and a very obvious laser assembly. This is like a motherboard on the top, and there's one underneath, and it's convoluted. And then here, we actually have, you can actually see it's got DVD N200 joystick PCB. It's written there. That's actually the controller port board. So even though I have no Nuon controllers because they're impossible to get, that is the board dedicated for it. And underneath there, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but I mean, there's screws for just about everything. The laser assembly back there is completely inaccessible. And yeah, it's just kind of, I just thought it would be neat to see for a lot of people. There's the other board, it says Samsung on it right there. Yeah, there's the Nuon specific chip you can see right there. That's kind of cool to see. That's obviously the tech for it. And then, yeah, I'm no engineer, but yeah, there's a lot of just, you know, cool chips and parts in there that you guys would like. But look at all the, like, the bands and everything like that. Reminds me a lot of the internals of a Sega Saturn, except vastly more complicated. So really, again, I know that it works based on what James told me. There's not much I can do in here. So with this, we could just go rinse it with soap and water, and frankly, that's exactly what we're going to do. There's even, like, dust underneath and all that. We're going to clean this up. I mean, we have to clean up something, right? But I figure the best starting point is here. That's clearly sticker adhesive. So for something like that, I want to use something like Dissolve It or Gooby Gone or one of those type of things. I'm just going to spray it on there and just kind of let it sit. Now, yeah, this will eat away at any sort of sticker bits. There's actually quite a few, so I'll probably spray a little bit of that around and then kind of let it sit and remove that. And then after that's done, I'll grab, like, you know, like a paper towel or a napkin or something. We'll just kind of wipe away the little bits. So I put the adhesive remover on a few random spots. There was one on the side you guys didn't see, I doubt anyway, as well as the one you did, and just a couple other spots. So now what we're going to do is take, like, in this case, just like a napkin, and just kind of wipe down some of those spots, and that should basically lift a lot of, yeah, so there's little bits coming off. Yeah, gross. But that's basically the sticker residue. Now, I'm just doing kind of a haphazard job here, but I'm going to do this more thoroughly on all these spots, and then I'm going to take this thing into the sink, get a brush, get some soap, some water, maybe play a little music, this is going to take a minute, and just try to get as much of this dust and dirt and grime and stuff out of here. The same with the bottom part again, which is dusty. I mean, if this is the only thing we're going to clean the crap out of it. No more sticker stuff there, no more sticker stuff there. Not really much dust or anything like that. Of course, we'll do a little bit more, but yeah, this is looking substantially better than it did before. No dust underneath there. Yeah, and there's a little bit of black mark type things under there, but that's just like the metal. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. There's some scuffs. There's not much we can do about that. But this is as clean as we can get it. So we're going to put it off to the side, and we're going to do another thing. I forgot to mention that James actually included the remote control with this thing. Now, I don't actually have a controller, but this actually does technically allow you to play the games. Unfortunately, he didn't have the cover for this. This, too, I don't think I'm going to really be able to dismantle properly. But nevertheless, we can give it a surface cleaning. So what I'm going to do is take a cleaning wipe. This is just from flying on United Airlines, but you can take any sort of, like, this is just an alcohol cleaning wipe. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open this up and get the wipe out. And then we're just going to rub it all over the controller and just get as much dirt and dust and grime out of there as we possibly can, and try to make it nicer. As you can see, there's a bunch of just dust and nastiness on there. Now, how much of this will really come off, I don't really know. But there, yeah, see, look at that. There was that big whole section of just gross. That's coming right off. Whoa, this smells intensely of alcohol. But yeah, we'll clean this all up. I'm just going to keep doing this all around, try to make it nice and shiny. But yeah, that's all I'm really doing. While I wait for the other parts to dry, I thought, okay, let's do the one thing we can really do. Now again, you might be the type of person that can actually take one of these apart. I just don't trust myself. Like, this is way too complicated looking. I just don't, especially knowing that it works. There's just not enough of a point. But all the same, I'm going to do the one thing I can do, which is get some compressed air in there. Specifically, we're going to be using an air duster. And we're just going to go in and just try and get any dust to pop out of the other side. So here we go. I'm going to lower the volume for your sake. Well, I saw a couple of little dust bunnies fly out, but really nothing significant. But, you know, hey, if you find one of these in a Goodwill, that might be a good strategy. So now it's time to put it back together. I know, a little anticlimactic here, but there is actually a trick to this, getting the lid on. So you see how it has this lip thing happening here? We basically want to slide that in under this part before we try to put it down. So bring it in like this, ride the rails there, make sure this is in all the way, or as much in the way as you can, then you just push down and boom, look, there we go. I noticed if you try to put it in from the back and go forward, it doesn't really fit right. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and add our 5 screws. Remember that there's 3 on the back, 1 here, 1 there, and 1 there, and there's also 1 here, as well as 1 over there. So go ahead and put them in. We're going to try to work on this front panel section here. It's not like it's that awful, but you know, we can make it a little better. And the same for the back section here. The stuff basically we couldn't get access to when we were taking, well, obviously we just cleaned that, but like basically we're just going to do a spot cleaning. And in order to do that, I think the best solution here is to take another one of these you know, alcohol wipes or whatever, and just take it out of this little bag and then just kind of pat it down on the affected areas. So again, spot cleaning, but basically, yeah, just kind of go like this and get as much dirt and dust and grime and stuff like as possible out of these, you know, the cracks and the crevices here, and just give it as much of a shiny coating as you possibly can. And again, I'm going to do this more thoroughly in a second. I'm just kind of giving you a generic example here, but you know, we can also do it here on the front like this, on this big piece of plastic we couldn't work on, as well as the front there and all around. But yeah, you get the idea. So that definitely actually helped out quite a bit, a little bit more than I think I was expecting it to. It looks good, but I think we can make it look a little bit better, and you guys know what's going to happen now. We're going to use Pledge. Now I use an orange Pledge, but you could use other kinds. I typically suggest not using the moisturizing kind, but really all you do in this case is just kind of spray it on like that. And then from there, you take like a paper towel or a napkin or something like that and wipe it down. And we'll do this all over the surface on the, you know, the primary piece here, but also the sides, the bottom, and all that sort of stuff. And then just kind of let it sit and dry for like a good, you know, 10 minutes or so. And then you'll see a nice shiny luster come out. Okay, there we go. We've waited a little bit. It looks pretty good. I mean, you know, much better than it was. Obviously not perfect. There's like scuffs in the paint from like, I guess, metal on metal damage and all that, but substantial improvement over where it was, at least on a surface level. So we've got the console all set up here, looking pretty good. Have it next to its big arch rival here, the Dreamcast, and of course the console that inspired it, the Jaguar. Anyway, yes, we're gonna go ahead and fire it up. Like I said, I already know this thing works, so I'm not really expecting anything, but I thought I'd show it to you guys anyway. It says load on the screen. You can see it looks like that. And this is kind of something I should have mentioned before. In between takes here, I thought of something else to do. So that's the disk drive. I decided to clean this with like a little alcohol wipe like I showed you guys before. Really nothing big there, just some dust, so I got that out of there. And now we're going to put a game in it. Now, I only have like 2 games because there's only 8 ever made, but I've went ahead and plopped one in. This is Freefall 3050 AD. Now, I can't really play it, but I thought you guys might like to see it all the same just to prove that it is in fact working. It says loading on the console, as you saw there. It will say loading up here, but it already went past that. And now it says game down here, so it's just going to take its time. There you go. It says Nuon, which if it says this, then it's good to go. In case it isn't obvious, it also reads other formats. It says right there it reads DVDs, obviously. It reads VCDs, which is kind of interesting. CDs, as in music, and then 3D game DVD N2000, aka the Nuon. If you're ever in like a Goodwill or whatever, and you see that logo, the Nuon somewhere, then pick that up, because then that is a rare but basically useless game console, but it's still cool to see. But there you go. That's some footage of the game. Now, I have this running, it has component support. I have that running out of the back into a RetroTink 5X, and then from there it's running into an M Classic just to correct aspect ratios and, you know, adjust the, you know, just buffer a little bit, anti-aliasing, all that sort of stuff. Not that that really matters for these purposes, but I just thought you guys would like to see it. But yeah, I can't really do anything else with it at this point. But huge shout out to James for hooking me up with this. You know, just like I said with the Toshiba one day, man, I'm hoping to get a controller so I can actually, like, use these Nuons. I now have 2 Nuons, 2 games, no controllers. I mean, actually, no, I have 3 games because I have that reprint of Iron Soldier 3 they did. Yes, there was a reprint of a Nuon game this year. Well, no, it was last year, sorry. But anyway, so there you go. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully at least one person on Earth found this somewhat helpful. Thank you very much. Please like, comment, subscribe. As always, check the social media stuff in the description. Follow my new channel, and thank you very much for watching.